Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Now what we have here is a bit of an oldie but goodie. This is a Kodak Instamatic M24 video camera from, well, these things were manufactured in Rochester, New York from 1970 till 1975. These were very popular with early filmmakers. They would have been YouTubers in the equivalent sense. These were basically the iPhone of the day. They were very cheap compared to some other cameras. They shot both color and black and white. I believe this one shot at either 24 or 30. It was most likely 24 frames per second. Now, how I got this camera is I went Goodwilling the other day with my family and I saw it. Picture this. You're walking through Goodwill, you see something sitting on a shelf with covered in all other types of CD players, and all you see is this. Now, I've actually been looking for a Walkman, in case you're wondering, so I thought it was a Walkman. So I grab it and I'm like, oh my god, I've seen these things before. These are very rare. They're not expensive because there's no real want for them anymore, but they're pretty rare in California. In the East Coast, they're far more common. My guess would be that somebody bought this from Kodak in New York and then somehow migrated more or less to California, probably during the 70s, during when we had that whole Hollywood boom. I know that was kind of dying down at that time, but the action movie scene and everything, and everybody, it's the same thing today. Everybody who thought they had a camera thought that they could make it in the movies, and they were later passed on and sold to a lot of independent filmmakers from the early digital age. I know that James Rolfe used something very similar to this in It Came from the Toilet. Right now, they're becoming more and more useless because they use a specially branded reel of film that only Kodak produced. And yes, I did do research into this, and for a color film cartridge, it's going for around 60, and for a black and white film cartridge, it's going for around 45 to 50. For me, that's a bit of an issue. I do have what I believe to be the original key. This would go into this little slot right here, and I believe, now don't quote me on this because I could not find the user's manual. Kodak pretty much seems to have ditched that, so if anybody has a user's manual for this, then please direct me to it. But from the information I was able to gather online, you could put this in here and it would either rewind the film or something similar to that. This is just a little key and it only fits in here, and most of the keys were actually lost, and I think that's kind of why that you don't really hear about them. It's got a tripod mount on the bottom, and the way that this is powered is it uses an interesting combination of batteries, if I say so myself. It uses two AA's placed into the little handle here, and you would put them into the handle, and then it would take one PX13 battery that would kind of go and bridge the gap in between there, and that was your battery bank. PX13s are not all that common at my local Walmart, so again, I was unable to power this thing on, so I'm gonna try Target, and I'm probably gonna try several other stores over time to see if I can at least get some batteries for this. I actually checked with Action Camera, and they do not sell any film for this camera, but it's just gonna be sitting on my shelf for pretty much forever. I mean, it's a great little find. I paid $3 for that, and I gotta say I'm pretty happy with it. I think I know the first name of the person who originally bought this. It actually says Jesse right on the label. You may have noticed that in the intro sequence. And I'm not actually going to remove that because I think that kind of gives this camera a bit of character. One thing I always tell people is when you find cameras like this, they're metal, and this one's mostly plastic. It's got a bit of, it's from the 70s, so it's kind of like the point where plastic was really becoming a thing and metal was starting to be phased out. For aluminum had not quite caught on yet, other than for cans. So I always tell people, don't clean the cameras that you find unless it's a health hazard. When you find these things, they're a lot like guns. It decreases the value if you wipe off the original name of the owner. It decreases the value if you were to... Sometimes it can hurt to clean the lens because the glass at this point is very fragile. This is a 14mm. Let me read off here. 14mm f2.7 Kodak E-Katanar lens. Sometimes you can break the glass. You have to stick it deep down in there. There's certain... If you just use a rag and your finger is going to get down in there, and it's a very thin little bit of glass, and you could break it. So again, if it's not a health hazard, I'm not going to clean it. I do think it gives it some character, and I don't want to mess with possibly decreasing the value. It's not like it's that valuable, but it's kind of a cool little thing that I'm keeping for myself. And yeah, so that's it for this little treat I got for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, kick it.